Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I'd like to do some trimming on this fusion project. It's the very first fusion project that I ever made. It's field maple, of course, and well, what I need to do is get some wires off. What I also need to do is do some trimming here, and there is a little root work that I have to do, which is of course unusual in the season, but you'll see what I mean. I'm not going to take this tree out of the pot, it would be ridiculous. So let's start immediately. As you might see on this wire, this is supposed to be the front of the tree, and then you can wonder why is there a big piece of wire here. Well, it was because I wanted to keep a root in position there. And well, after 2 or 3 months of growing, it probably just is in position now, so I can remove this wire. And another thing I need to do is remove some piece of bamboo that I remember I put in somewhere, but I don't know why. So I'm going to loosen the topsoil, and I'm going to try to find this piece of bamboo, cut it. Oh, I think I'm lucky here. I think I got it. I think it's this. Yep, I just added that to keep some roots in a certain spot. Yeah, I don't think this one made it. Well, that's too bad, but that's not a big tragedy. So I'm going to try to cut this. Yeah, and so after a few months the bamboo did the trick. I'm going to comb the roots a little so that they might fill up this hole in a good direction, and then I'll cover it up with the soil. Like so. This one is dead. So I'm going to get it out. Okay. So, well, now that we are looking at the base, it's not looking bad at all. It's a wide base. Soil is a little too high. Could get a little more out. And then you start to see the big root spread, which is something you can achieve quite easily with the fusion technique, and which is always one of the most difficult things to achieve. I'm going just to remove this top part of the soil. Okay. We'll make watering just a little easier by getting a few millimeters of this soil off. Okay, like so. Now for the trimming. So this was supposed to be the front. Okay, let's have a look. So in the beginning of spring I already did quite some trimming here, and you might remember that I said that I wanted only to trim the top because it's always the most vigorous part, and again I see that it is the vigorous part. So a whole lot of this stuff here has to be removed. This is a fusion tree where there is already some fusion, and there always also is a little snail living here. Look at his ear. So, okay, you cannot stay here, brother. So let's get you somewhere else. Okay. Yeah. So this part is already fusing quite well. You see, you see where the trees came together, and this is a very strong part. So now I'm going to start trying to work on the ramification, and if I don't really work on the ramification, I will surely work on the balancing of the vigor industry so that it can grow more at the bottom than at the top. So it is a deciduous tree, so I don't mind having two tops, because it is not a pine. It does not need to be S-shaped and doesn't need to have one top. It has to form a crown. So I'm going to try to make this crown to start this. Okay, so that reduces the tree, and now I'm going to go a little more down. I see that this is becoming quite strong, so I'm going to remove that. So I'm working in in stages, being severe at the top, a little less severe lower. But I always need to keep in mind and have a look at where the branches are coming from. So I know I'm blocking the camera quite a lot here, but there's really not a whole lot I can do. So, and here, see, these parts are okay, but they're starting to become a little weaker, and that's not a surprise. That's because, well, all the vigor goes in the top. So the really big stuff has to go. Okay, here I think I should get a little lower now. This is really the lowest part of the tree. I'm going to take a chair. This is a nice branch here. It's coming from this tree, and it's going to be some kind of secondary trunk. So I want it to grow strong. So I'm not going to touch that, I think. And it separates here, so which is very cool, because this branch is a part of the fusion. Okay. Same here. I'd like to have some ramification there. This one can be cut back. This I'm going to leave growing. This is a strange thing. It's a branch coming from here. I put it in here. It comes out here at the very top. Can you see the curve here? Yeah. And it's just there to, well, to thicken this part. And when it fuses, well, it will close the gap. And I think that I'm almost done. I can leave this one. I'll show you why. See, this is a tree that comes from here, and it should fill this hole. So if I cut it now, it could make new buds here, which could help. But if I let it grow, it will probably grow another 30 centimeters this year, and it will probably close the gap here. This one is a wired branch. Now, I'm going to see if the wire is still okay. It's not digging in. It's a little messy here, and the branch looks alive, so I'm going to leave the wire on it. I'm going to try to show a view from the bottom. So you see a lot of growth here in the top, a fused top. You can just see it here right at the top of the camera, like so. And then for the rest, well, a whole lot of trees that need a lot of growing, and a few little wires that are starting to cut in, and I can remove now because these trees, well, they're not going to move anymore. A whole lot of very weak growth that would die in the coming months if I had not do this cutting today. So I think I did something good. This is the front, this is the base, this is my hand. I'm not a giant, but I'm not small. It should give you an idea of what the base of the tree is. This is a little shoot, a little seedling. I'm letting it grow. Might include it next year in the fusion. And the really small things you see are the seedlings from this year. I don't know if they're alive, but anyway, they're not doing any harm here. So yeah, that's the base of the tree. Now it has a very good root spread on every side. And why did I choose this as a front? Well, it gives a little more movement, but I think that when I repot this tree in a year or two, I'll give it some more inclination to the front, and it's gonna be better. But this is not something I need to do now. You see, we have some little growth here. It is interesting now that the tree has been trimmed. Probably this will start to grow. It gets more light. It gets more vigor because other parts are trimmed back, and it might thicken and complete the fusion in this spot. So that's what I have to keep in mind. Some little roots are now uncovered. They are not going to do any good, so I can cut these back. It's just a question of tidy up. Okay. So again, not spectacular, but necessary if you want your fusion project to become something. That's the tree now. We'll see in a few months. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.